Plenum cables are required in enclosed spaces that carry air for heating, ventilation, or air conditioning, known as HVAC. They are designed to release less smoke and toxic fumes in the event of a fire, which helps reduce the spread of hazardous gases throughout the building. Standard polyvinyl chloride, or PVC, cables can be used in areas that are not considered plenum spaces, such as in open air or within walls. When determining cable type, it's crucial to identify if the space is used for air circulation. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, allows electrical equipment to be installed in concealed spaces above drop ceilings, but there are specific conditions that must be met. Firstly, the equipment must be specifically listed for use above suspended ceilings. This means it has been tested and approved for such environments. Secondly, the space must be accessible for maintenance and repair. This ensures that technicians can easily reach the equipment for any necessary work. Thirdly, the equipment should not interfere with the operation of the HVAC system. You don't want electrical components hindering the building's climate control. Self-powered speakers that operate on low voltage, such as 12 volts or 24 volts, can be installed in drop ceilings. These speakers typically have low power consumption and don't generate significant heat, making them suitable for these locations. In addition to the NEC, local building codes may have additional requirements for electrical equipment installed in concealed spaces. It is important to check with local authorities to ensure full compliance with all applicable regulations. For fire safety, avoid placing electrical equipment near combustible materials or sources of heat. This reduces the risk of fire hazards. Accessibility is key. Ensure that all equipment is easily accessible for maintenance and troubleshooting. This will save time and effort when issues arise. If electrical equipment generates a significant amount of heat, consider providing additional ventilation to prevent overheating. This helps to maintain a safe operating temperature for the components. Here are some recommended practices. Firstly, always use plenum-rated cables in areas where air is transported for HVAC systems. This is a critical safety measure. Secondly, locate electrical equipment in a designated equipment rack or enclosure to ensure proper accessibility and ventilation. This helps to organize and protect the equipment. Thirdly, consult with a licensed electrician for any electrical installations, especially if you are unsure about code requirements. They can provide expert guidance. Fourthly, obtain a permit from the local building authority for any alterations to the electrical system or concealed spaces. This ensures that the work is done legally and safely. To elaborate on the use of plenum versus non-plenum cables, let's delve into the specifics. Plenum spaces are defined as areas used for the transport of environmental air. This includes ducts, air handling spaces, and other areas that facilitate air circulation for heating, cooling, and ventilation. Plenum cables are specifically designed to meet stringent fire safety standards. They are constructed with materials that produce minimal smoke and toxic fumes when burned. This is crucial in preventing the spread of harmful substances through the air distribution system during a fire. Standard PVC cables, on the other hand, are not designed for use in plenum spaces. When burned, they release significantly more smoke and toxic fumes, which can pose a serious health hazard. Using standard PVC cables in plenum spaces is a violation of building codes and can create a dangerous situation. Now let's consider the installation of electrical equipment above drop ceilings in more detail. The NEC provides specific guidelines for such installations to ensure safety and compliance. According to the NEC, electrical equipment installed above drop ceilings must be listed for that specific purpose. This means that the equipment has been tested and certified by a recognized testing laboratory, such as Underwriters Laboratories, or all, to meet specific safety standards for installation in suspended ceiling environments. The equipment must be accessible for maintenance and repair without requiring the removal of ceiling tiles or other obstructions. This is typically achieved by providing a clear access path to the equipment. The equipment should not interfere with the operation of the HVAC system. This includes ensuring that the equipment does not obstruct airflow or create excessive heat that could affect the performance of the HVAC system. In addition to these NEC requirements, local building codes may have additional regulations regarding the installation of electrical equipment above drop ceilings. It is crucial to consult with local authorities to determine the specific requirements in your area. When installing self-powered speakers in drop ceilings, it's important to consider their power requirements and heat generation. Self-powered speakers typically have low power consumption and produce minimal heat, making them suitable for drop ceiling installations. However, it's still important to ensure that the speakers are properly ventilated and that their power supplies are adequately protected. Regarding the use of 70-volt sound amplifiers, these can be installed above drop ceilings provided that they meet the NEC requirements for equipment installed in concealed spaces. This includes ensuring that the amplifier is listed for use above suspended ceilings, is accessible for maintenance and repair, and does not interfere with the operation of the HVAC system. However, it's important to consider the heat generated by the amplifier and provide adequate ventilation to prevent overheating. If the amplifier generates a significant amount of heat, it may be necessary to install a fan or other cooling device to maintain a safe operating temperature. Let's discuss some specific NEC articles that are relevant to the installation of electrical equipment above drop ceilings. NEC Article 300.22 covers wiring methods for spaces used for environmental air, including plenum spaces. This article specifies the types of cables that are permitted for use in plenum spaces and the requirements for their installation. NEC Article 400.8 covers the use of flexible cords and cables. This article prohibits the use of flexible cords and cables in certain applications, including as a substitute for the fixed wiring of a building. NEC Article 424.22 covers the installation of fixed electric space heating equipment. This article specifies the requirements for the installation of heaters in suspended ceilings, including the need for adequate ventilation and protection from overheating. When designing and installing audio-video systems, it's essential to have a thorough understanding of the NEC and local building codes. Consulting with a licensed electrician and obtaining the necessary permits can help ensure that your installations are safe, compliant, and reliable. Now let's talk about additional considerations for fire safety. In addition to using plenum-rated cables in plenum spaces, there are other steps you can take to enhance fire safety in your audio-video installations. Firstly, install smoke detectors in areas where electrical equipment is located. Smoke detectors can provide early warning of a fire, allowing for prompt action to prevent its spread. Secondly, use fire-resistant materials for equipment racks, enclosures, and other components. Fire-resistant materials can help to contain a fire and prevent it from spreading to other areas. Thirdly, ensure that all electrical connections are properly made and secured. Loose or faulty connections can create a fire hazard. Fourthly, regularly inspect electrical equipment for signs of damage or wear. Damaged equipment can be a fire hazard and should be repaired or replaced promptly. And now about accessibility. Ensuring that electrical equipment is easily accessible for maintenance and troubleshooting is crucial for maintaining the reliability of your audio-video systems. When planning your installations, consider the following factors. Firstly, provide adequate clearance around equipment to allow for easy access. Secondly, use removable panels or doors to provide access to concealed equipment. Thirdly, label all equipment and wiring clearly to facilitate identification and troubleshooting. Fourthly, keep accurate records of equipment locations and wiring diagrams. About ventilation, electrical equipment generates heat, which can lead to overheating and equipment failure. Providing adequate ventilation is essential for maintaining the reliability of your audio-video systems. Consider the following factors. Firstly, ensure that equipment racks and enclosures have adequate ventilation openings. Secondly, use fans or other cooling devices to provide forced air circulation. Thirdly, avoid blocking ventilation openings with equipment or other obstructions. Fourthly, monitor equipment temperatures regularly to ensure that they are within acceptable limits. More unrecommended practices. Firstly, always use plenum-rated cables in areas where air is transported for HVAC systems. This is a critical safety measure that helps to prevent the spread of smoke and toxic fumes in the event of a fire. Secondly, locate electrical equipment in a designated equipment rack or enclosure to ensure proper accessibility and ventilation. This helps to organize and protect the equipment, making it easier to maintain and troubleshoot. Thirdly, consult with a licensed electrician for any electrical installations, especially if you are unsure about code requirements. A qualified electrician can provide expert guidance and ensure that your installations are safe and compliant. Fourthly, obtain a permit from the local building authority for any alterations to the electrical system or concealed spaces. Obtaining a permit ensures that your work is inspected and approved, helping to prevent potential safety hazards. To summarize, when designing and installing audio-video systems, it's essential to prioritize safety and compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. By following these guidelines, you can create systems that are safe, reliable, and easy to maintain. For the NEC reference, please refer to NEC 300.22 regarding wiring in ducts not specifically fabricated for environmental air. Please refer to NEC 300.21 regarding spread of fire and products of combustion. Also refer to NEC 310.15 for ampacity tables to determine minimum conductor size for your intended voltage and amperage requirements. If there is a concern for voltage drop, then adjust the conductors accordingly. For instance, if you are running 120 volts a long distance, then voltage drop will be a concern. If you are running a 70-volt system for audio reinforcement, then voltage drop is also a concern depending on wire length. The best practice is to use oversized conductors to minimize losses. Consult Article 640 of the NEC for audio signal processing, amplification and reproduction equipment for additional requirements. This includes things such as overcurrent protection, grounding and specific wiring methods. It is best to consult a qualified and licensed electrical engineer to review your designs and ensure compliance with applicable codes and standards and regulations. Remember, safety should always be the top priority when working with electrical systems. Another important aspect to consider is the labeling of electrical panels and circuits. Proper labeling is essential for identifying the correct circuit for any given piece of equipment. This can save time and prevent accidents during maintenance or troubleshooting. Use clear and durable labels that are easy to read. Include the circuit number, the equipment it serves, and the voltage. Keep the labeling up to date wherever changes are made to the electrical system. Furthermore, consider the use of surge protection devices, or SPDs, to protect sensitive electronic equipment from voltage spikes and surges. SPD can help to prevent damage to equipment caused by lightning strikes, power outages, or other electrical disturbances. Install SPD at the service entrance and at individual equipment locations. Select SPD that are appropriately rated for the voltage and current of the circuits they protect. Also, be aware of the potential for electromagnetic interference, or EMI, in audio-video systems. EMI can cause noise and distortion in audio and video signals. To minimize EMI, use shielded cables, ground equipment properly, and keep signal cables away from power cables. In addition to the NEC, there are other standards and guidelines that may be relevant to your audio-video installations. These include standards from organizations such as the Audio Engineering Society, or EASE, and the Society of Motion Picture and Television Engineers, or SMT. These standards provide guidance on topics such as audio and video signal levels, impedance matching, and cable termination. Staying informed about the latest standards and guidelines can help you ensure that your installations meet the highest levels of performance and reliability. Finally, remember that electrical codes and standards are constantly evolving. It is important to stay up to date on the latest changes and updates to ensure that your installations remain compliant. Subscribe to industry publications, attend training courses, and participate in professional organizations to stay informed about the latest developments in electrical safety and technology. And remember to use appropriate lockout/tagout procedures during any electrical work to ensure personnel safety during maintenance or service. The NEC is updated every 3 years, so it's important to review the latest edition to understand the most current requirements. Local jurisdictions may also have their own amendments or interpretations of the NEC. so it's crucial to consult with local authorities to ensure compliance with all applicable regulations. In addition to the technical aspects of electrical installations, it's also important to consider the aesthetic aspects. Run cables neatly and securely. Use cable management systems to keep wires organized and conceal wiring whenever possible to create a professional and visually appealing installation. Pay attention to detail and take pride in your work to create installations that are both functional and aesthetically pleasing. Effective communication with clients and other stakeholders is also essential for successful audio-video installations. Clearly communicate the scope of work, the timeline, and the budget. Keep clients informed of progress throughout the project and address any concerns or questions promptly. Building strong relationships with clients and other stakeholders can help to ensure that your projects are successful and that you earn repeat business. Another important consideration is the documentation of your audio-video installations. Create detailed wiring diagrams, equipment lists, and system configurations. This documentation will be invaluable for future maintenance, troubleshooting, and upgrades. Keep the documentation up to date and store it in a safe and accessible location. Proper documentation can save time and money in the long run. And now about training. Provide adequate training to users of the audio-video systems you install. Train users on how to operate the equipment, troubleshoot basic problems, and report any issues to the appropriate personnel. User training can help to ensure that the systems are used effectively and that they are properly maintained. When selecting equipment for audio-video installations, consider factors such as reliability, performance, and ease of use. Choose equipment from reputable manufacturers that offer good warranties and technical support. Evaluate equipment based on its specifications, features, and reviews. Select equipment that meets the specific needs of the application. Finally, remember that continuous improvement is essential for success in the audio-video industry. Seek out opportunities to learn new skills, improve your knowledge, and stay up to date on the latest technologies. Attend industry conferences, take online courses, and read industry publications. By continuously improving your skills and knowledge, you can provide your clients with the best possible service and stay ahead of the competition. For 70-volt speaker systems, be sure to calculate the total wattage of all speakers connected to the amplifier. Ensure that the amplifier has sufficient output power to drive all of the speakers without distortion. Also, use appropriately sized transformers for each speaker to match the impedance of the speaker to the 70 volts line. For network-connected devices, implement proper network security measures to protect against unauthorized access and cyber threats. Use strong passwords, enable firewalls, and keep software up to date. Segment the network to isolate audio-video devices from other devices on the network. Regularly monitor the network for suspicious activity. For wireless audio-video systems, be aware of potential interference from other wireless devices. Use appropriate wireless channels and frequencies to minimize interference. Consider using directional antennas to focus the wireless signal. Test the wireless system thoroughly to ensure reliable performance. In addition to technical skills, strong project management skills are also essential for successful audio-video installations. Develop a detailed project plan, track progress against the plan, and manage resources effectively. Communicate regularly with clients and other stakeholders to keep them informed of progress. Identify and mitigate potential risks. Project management skills can help you to deliver projects on time, on budget, and to the satisfaction of your clients. For digital signage applications, consider the viewing distance and angle when selecting displays. Choose displays that are large enough to be easily seen from the intended viewing distance. Select displays with wide viewing angles to ensure that the content is visible from different positions. Also, consider the ambient light levels in the environment and choose displays with appropriate brightness and contrast ratios. For video conferencing systems, ensure that the cameras and microphones are properly positioned and calibrated. Position the cameras to capture a clear view of the participants. Place the microphones close to the participants to ensure good audio quality. Calibrate the cameras and microphones to optimize their performance. For control systems, develop intuitive and user-friendly interfaces. Design the interfaces to be easy to understand and operate. Use clear labels and icons. Provide feedback to users to confirm their actions. Test the control system thoroughly to ensure that it functions correctly. For lighting control systems, consider the different lighting zones and scenes. Create different lighting zones to control different areas of the space independently. Develop different lighting scenes to create different moods and atmospheres. Use dimmers to adjust the brightness of the lights. Finally, always prioritize safety in all aspects of your audio-video installations. Follow all applicable codes and regulations, use safe work practices, and provide adequate training to personnel. Safety should always be the top priority.